Another Tuesday night at Mory's. Ron Vaccaro joined by head coach of the Yale Bulldogs, Jack Siedlecki, fresh off a big win at Dartmouth, now 1-1 in the Ivy League. I think that game against Dartmouth was really how you would like this team to play. Very big plays on offense, timely plays, and the same from your defense.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we turned them over, which was great. You know, I think we were +3 in turnovers, which makes us +6 over the last 2 weeks. And when you play that way, you're giving yourself better field position. You're giving yourself more possession to the ball, and we did good things. We ran the ball well. Mike had a 135-yard day, and we made a couple of big plays in the pass game. A 70-yarder, a 30-yarder on fourth down, about a 35-yarder that got us down to the 3-yard line for Mike's touchdown. Big play on defense, another interception for a touchdown. We've scored on defense or in the special teams in every game. And these last 2 weeks, we've definitely played better.
And even though it's become clear that Ryan Fodor is the starting quarterback, you have to be very happy with what Brooke Hart was able to do in that drive in the first quarter.
We were probably very fortunate that Brooke had the playing time that he had in the first couple of games, because he went in, really didn't skip a beat, and continued that opening drive. And obviously it's nice to – they drove – I think they had the ball for almost 6 minutes at the beginning of the game, got down around our 10. We get the big interception, get the ball to 20, and we drive 80 yards on our first drive and lost our quarterback on a second play. That was a big spot for him to come in, and a clutch performance for him. He went 3 for 3 on the drive, and converted a fourth down on that drive, and going ahead to start first drive of the game, always a big plus.
And a lot has been made about maybe Mike McLeod's numbers being down a bit, but really very balanced attack and a very efficient from the running and passing games on Saturday.
Without a doubt. I mean, they brought the safeties down. I mean, they definitely put the extra guys down there, and that's part of the reason we got a couple of the big plays that we got. We are going to be a team that is going to rely on some play-action type things, getting the ball down the field, making those 2 or 3 big plays in the game when people give them to you, and you got to take advantage of it. We got to make those plays, and we're there. We actually had one other one, ball down the middle to John that was just slightly overthrown. That would have been another big play down the middle of the field. So we really did some good things. We're catching the ball better, and again, we're not turning it over. Ryan is throwing the ball over 60%. That was one of our big goals for the year, was to up the percentage in the passing game, eliminate the turnovers. I think we're 6 touchdown passes, which is twice as many as we threw all of last year, and he only has 1 interception. So that's a tremendous ratio.
Fordham this coming Saturday on the road, your final non-league game. Is there anything you look to accomplish in this final game out of conference play until it's 5 Ivy games to finish?
I mean, obviously we just want to keep getting better. We had such a poor performance at Cornell from an offensive perspective, and now to come back 2 weeks in a row and play well, run the ball well, throw the ball well, not turn it over, we need to build off of that, and we need to have another one of those games. And to be honest, we need to keep our defense off the field with this football team. They have a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback. They've got some real athletes, and our offense needs to control the tempo of this game for us to have the game go the way we want it to go.
We always talk every year, it's like a broken record, about how wide open the Ivy League is and how it's that type of a league. And I think this year the early going would say that it might be as much, if not more so, than ever.
I mean, by the end of this week, at least there's only 3 teams that are 1-0, and one of them has to get beat because they're playing each other, Princeton and Brown. So we're going to go into the third week of the Ivy season, with all but 2 teams at least having at least 1 loss. And if Columbia pulled off the upset, we'd only have 1 unbeaten team in the league. So you're right, it's even more so than normal. And, Harvard came back and got the big win over Cornell. So now, Cornell, Harvard and ourselves are all 1-1. And it's going to be a great Ivy race.
Sometimes teams take on a personality or characteristics that define them. Too early yet to know what this team's, personality is, or is it a pretty good idea?
I don't know if it's personality or style of play or however you want to put it, but there's no question we are going to be, if we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the year, we are going to be a team who plays great defense, turns people over, kicks the ball well, and possesses the ball on offense. We've kind of joked with our staff a little bit. we kind of talk about our offense hasn't performed that well. We're the leading scoring team in the league, so either we're doing some things right, which we obviously are, but the other part of it is we're doing things really well in the special teams. Tom Mante's just had a great year so far, and we're doing things really well on defense that is giving our offense the opportunities. And we are the leading scoring team in the league, so our offense certainly is not a poor sister or anything.
Let's talk. I want to talk from building a program level and the program you've got established here. I remember it wasn't, time when I was a student maybe and sitting at a press luncheon and people would always ask you what other teams did well or what you had to watch out for them. But now the last several years, it seems people aren't asking that as much. They're asking about Yale, and other coaches are having to answer what are they worried about with Yale. And what's it like to have that, to really work and sustain that?
Well, I mean, it is hard to sustain. I mean, if you look in the league, we have all these stats that we keep on, where you finish in the league and that type of thing. There's only 2 teams in the league right now that have finished in the top half of the league for the last 6 years in a row, and that's us and Harvard. Everyone else in the league has finished in the bottom half at least once. So as much success as Penn has had, they've been in the bottom half of the league, I think 2 or 3 times in the last 6 years. And it's very hard to sustain. But the other part of it is when you have success, it makes you attractive. It certainly makes it attractive in recruiting for me to be saying to recruits, this is a winning program. Most kids want to play in a winning program. Most kids want to win more games than they lose. And, the real successful high school player is looking at that. And obviously, being Yale, we have a lot to offer to begin with. But that's a big part of it. And then this has been a pretty special class, this group that's coming through here, this senior group. I mean, they've had, they kind of took this program over. And we've got some outstanding individuals. And we're going to have to replace some great players next year. But the program is obviously going in the right direction. We have a lot of kids in each class. There's no holes. There's no class that only has, 15 or 18 guys. This senior class is unbelievable with 35. But we've been above 25 now for the last, 7 years or 6 or 7 years in a row. Maybe one year we had 23. So that's a big part of having success in this league is being an experienced team, playing mostly with juniors and seniors, playing with kids that have experience and have been in a weight room and, those types of things. And it's hard to keep it going, but we've had, a lot of success, and you try to build off of it.
You've got a good mix with your seniors. You've got, for everyone like a Bobby Hebert who's been playing for a long time, you've got Ryan Fodor who steps in as your senior quarterback after learning from others in front of him for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, our program's a little unique, and the whole league is unique. And most of our guys, 90% of our guys play 4 years. That's it. There is no redshirting. The only guys that get the 5th year are a guy that maybe had an injury. This year Steve Morse is a 5th-year guy because he had the injury. Next year we'll have Larry Hebert, because he missed a season. But our guys are 4-year players, and in most programs, guys are 5-year players. So if you're a 2-year starter in most programs, it's our guy's senior year and then the next one. And we don't get that. So we have to build players, and we have to see players grow. And we have to use our JV program. And I make comments all the time about our JV program. Eric Johnson played JV football here. He played in the NFL for 7 years. Nate Lowry played JV football here. He's still in the NFL. So our JV program is very important to us in building players and getting players to go. And then you always have the guys that Pat Seddon is a great example. Pat is a guy, came in as a quarterback, very good athlete. Really, we moved him to receiver. Not the most confident guy. He had to believe in himself as much as anything, and it took him some time. And now you see what Pat's doing and seeing. Just think if he had a 5th year, if he had another year. We say that a lot with a lot of our seniors. Man, just think if he had another year, because in most programs he would. But it's the reality of what we are. Our guys graduate in 4 years, but we rely on, every team has to have the star. I mean, Mike McLeod obviously is a different level player. Bobby's a different level player. That's what's going to enable you to compete for the championship. But you need good players who develop in the program, and they might be only 1-year guys. And, Pat, obviously a great example. Ryan, another great example. And you can go through the years or go through the roster right now and see those senior contributors, and they make a big difference in the program.
All right, Coach. Thanks very much. Good luck against Fordham.
Thank you.
That's Yale head coach Jack Siedlecki.